Squad Pod Sports. We're bringing you thoughts on the latest games and sports news around the sports world, brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network. I'm Wyatt, of course, joined by Vernon. Before we get into our show today, make sure to go check out the Score No Score app. You can play, bet with your friends during the big games. You can bet on, the next play, whether it's a score or no score.
Take their money.
There's a couple other different bets on there, but yeah, you can bet with your friends. It is on the Google Play Store and on the Apple Store. So definitely go check that out and play with your friends during the big games. A lot to talk about this week here, Vern. We had the wild card games. A lot of blowouts. There was only a couple good games, but unfortunately, it wasn't good for our teams.
No, not at all. But we'll get to that. But I know, looking forward to the divisional round here, we have a lot of amazing matchups. So we'll break down all of that here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk about that. We'll have, of course, all the other NFL news that's out there right now. And then our predictions for the divisional matchups here coming up this weekend. Of course, your hot and not list for the NBA, as well as our bias bubble and crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. So we'll hop right into it. The wild card weekend, man, started on Saturday.
Yep, started on Saturday with that. The early game was the
Raiders and the Bengals. Yeah,
yep, the Raiders and the Bengals.
I think we both picked the Bengals in this game.
We did.
And rightfully so, because they had the whole lead the whole time through this game. They started off hot, right. And then it was just the Raiders kind of trying to catch up towards the end, and it was kind of a will they won't they win type shit towards the end there.
Derek Carr slinging the ball around, doing everything he can, threw the ball 54 times. It just wasn't enough, it wasn't not enough for him. The Bengals get their first playoff victory in how long? It's
31 years. 31 years. So it was a big day for Joe Burrow and company there. He had a pretty big game himself. He was 24 or 34, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Jamar Chase, once again, he did his thing with like over 100 yards. He had 116 yards there.
Without even a touchdown.
Without even a touchdown. So that pretty much it happened. Everybody thought was going to happen in that game. Maybe we thought it was going to maybe be a little closer game the whole time with the Raiders, but it was just them trying to play keep up the whole time.
And what's cool? Like, I heard this on the radio the other day. Apparently, the coach, what's his name, Zach Taylor. Apparently, he went and gave the game ball to he went out and gave it to the city of Cincinnati or some shit. You know what I mean? So I thought that was awesome. He realizes how important this win was for Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
And the 31-year drought is over. They have a playoff victory. Who knows how far they'll go? But they got it tackled here. They got a nice quarterback. They got a nice receiver. Their future is bright.
And it's also encouraging because, Joe Burrow going into the playoffs and having such a strong performance. Look at all these other QBs that had their first playoff game this weekend, and look how terrible they did.
Exactly.
All three of them, pretty much. So, and Joe Burrow out here slinging it, looking great. So, that's a promising sign as well as the win, going forward. Not just this year, but, years to come in the Joe Burrow Bengals. And I know you don't want to talk about it, but we're going to have to talk about it. The Saturday night primetime game, the third matchup between the Patriots and the Bills here.
This did not go
how everybody expected.
This was an ass whooping.
This
is a premium, hold them down, whoop their ass.
And that's how a lot of the games went this week, this wild card weekend.
This
makes you wonder if there shouldn't even have been maybe an extra seed.
Listen,
that was tacked on.
This game felt like the Buffalo Bills taking out their frustration on New England from the past 20 years. That's exactly what it felt like to me, and they couldn't do anything about it. The Patriots could do literally nothing about it. They were making mistakes like stupid penalties. Mac Jones looked flustered as shit the whole time. My calm, cool, composed rookie quarterback was flustered and getting sacked, and it just was not pretty at all from start to finish for the Patriots. And really, I think the 17 points we got was more than we deserved type of thing at the end of the day. The Bills dismantled them in every aspect of it. And I'm sad and I'm hurt because I knew Buffalo was good, but my heart's telling me Patriots are going to win this game. It's Bill Belichick. It's your boys. We've been beating up on Buffalo for so long. And it's a new era in the AFC East, man. Buffalo
Apparently
dismantled us. So credit to Buffalo.
Josh Allen had a dang near flawless game. He was 21 to 25. Like, that's crazy. 300 yards with 5 touchdowns. Like, you don't see that very often. And no. I mean, you had the stat, like we talked about it before, like we hopped on, that the Bills, they scored on every drive of this game.
Every single possession. And apparently it was like 7, right? 7 straight possessions. This was the first time that Bill Belichick has ever been scored on in 4 straight possessions.
Yeah.
And they did it 7 times. So they just kept going, man. Like,
it was the NFL's first ever perfect offensive game. There was no punts, no picks, no fumbles, no field goals, all touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this felt like them taking out their aggression from the last 20 years.
Absolutely was. It absolutely was.
You know what? I hope karma bites them in the ass, and I hope they match up with Tom Brady in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. You know, and Tom Brady whoops their ass one more fucking time for good measure.
Get him, Tom. I know you're doing it for us.
Get him, Tom. I got this up here this week. We didn't really talk about it, but I got this up here this week because now my allegiance has gone to my old Tom Brady, Gronkowski. You know what I mean? I'm wearing my man. This is my main man.
Tom's sitting at home watching that game, and he's just like, "Don't worry, New England. I'll take care of this for you guys."
I hope so, because I think we'll get to it, but Buffalo is probably not going to be stopped anytime soon, but they did dismantle my
They're getting hot at the right time. They're actually using the running backs. Like we mentioned before, when they weren't using their running backs, man, they looked terrible.
It just didn't make sense, but now look at them, man. They look like the NFL's best team all around. Awesome. All around. And granted, we're not the best offense in the league. You know, our defense has been bad the last couple weeks, so there's a lot there. But Buffalo,
were you guys missing like Jalen Mills and stuff too? Like, you were missing a couple players on defense,
right? But that's
not like he was like
exactly like real contenders have depth. They have the pieces to fill in there, no matter who's out, type of thing. So we are obviously not a contender, but that's not to take any credit away from Buffalo. Like, Buffalo did exactly what they should do to a team with the talent level New England has right now. So all credit to Buffalo, man.
You did pick Patriots in this one. I did take the Bills. I did take the Bills in this one. I had to. Just like in this next game, pretty much I could say exactly what you said about your Patriots. I'm going to apply directly to my statement on this next game, the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Pretty much everything you said applies to the Eagles. I thought at least they had a fighting chance and to win this game. I mean, it was all stacking up. The wins were high. I mean, they had so many players hurt. Leonard Fournette was a last-minute scratch. So was their other running back. One of their starting corners was out. Their right Wirfs was hobbled and then left the game. Like,
they had one thing. They had one thing that nobody else has. God damn it.
Tom damn Brady.
Tom fucking Brady.
Because, I mean, everything was there. Like, leading up, like, the days, it was just like maybe some piece of news a day where you're like, oh, okay, that's nice, looking nice. And then game day, I was like, man, I feel great. We gonna go out here and compete against these Bucks? Nope. Wrong. Nope. Devastating. That's my word for this game. Devastating. Now, I did talk about how, like, we should even have been here, but man, what was the one thing I said last week? I just hope one thing. I hope it's competitive. And that was completely not what it was. Because I mean, just like what you said about your Patriots, that 15 points we have, we probably shouldn't even have had that. We shouldn't even have had that. They had an answer for everything, man. On defense, on offense, like Tom Brady, and then Bowles.
Tom Brady, man.
Todd Bowles on that defense.
At least you made the playoffs, like you said. You guys overachieved. I feel like the Patriots overachieved this year. The team like the Raiders even making the playoffs, and the Steelers overachieving and making the playoffs there. So all the teams that got knocked out, other than one, we'll get to that on the next game here, were overachievers to even be here in the first place.
Exactly.
You know? So, but hey, I'm happy for the Eagles and what they to come up against Tom Brady. You know, Jalen Hurts,
exactly. Like the Patriots and Eagles, we didn't expect our teams maybe to even be in the playoffs this year. Exactly. Like, it was high hopes. But man, it just rubs it in. It like rubs the salt in the wound, like just by getting blown out that bad.
I know.
Like, damn, I just wish we would have competed a little bit. But it is what it is. But yeah, Tom Brady had a easy day No, at the office. Easy day. I mean, he got sacked like 4 times. So, I mean, he got some dirt on him. But, yeah.
7 incompletions? Something like that? 6 incompletions? Or 8 incompletions?
Yeah, it wasn't many. But, I mean, we both picked the Buccaneers, even though I thought the Eagles had a chance. Both picked the Bucs.
I should have picked the Bills in that game, but I didn't. I picked the Patriots like an idiot. But you smartly, you made the right decision here.
But the 49ers and the Cowboys in this next game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to just say 3 things. Same old Cowboys. I knew this was going to happen, and that's why I picked the 49ers. Because I knew it was going to happen.
I wanted this to happen, but I still picked the Cowboys because I thought they were going to pull it out. I thought they were the more talented team all around, you know?
Oh,
but
man.
I didn't factor in that one thing there, the Mike McCarthy time management. I didn't factor in any of his play clock management or anything like that. So I should have. I picked Dallas.
And a play call, like who runs a QB draw?
Who runs a QB draw with 14 seconds left on the clock? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand what happened. I don't understand how Dak executed that play. Like, if he's this $40 million quarterback, you would have. Like, come on now. I've heard debates, people talking, is Dak better or would you rather have Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott? Or, like, you know what I mean? They're out here already talking about Dak Prescott's washed, and I'm like, chill on that. This was just a really badly coached game, you know, as far as the Cowboys go there.
I totally agree. And I mean, this was similar to the Raiders and the Bengals game where the Cowboys were trying to keep up the whole time. You know, the 49ers were able to get a nice lead on them to start, and then they just kind of kept it that whole way there. It was kind of close, you know. It was last minute drive. And, you know, that costly, like I think it was offsides by the 49ers there that even gave Dallas the ball and a chance to win it there at the end.
But the thing is, like, the 49ers had 0 points in the fourth quarter and still won the game with Dallas putting up 10 in the, like, you know, Dallas was in no position to win this game until the end of the game, damn near, you know. So it was just so lackluster of a performance. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree.
And they're only aging. Cooper's aging. Zeke's aging.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, we'll talk about Zeke here in a little bit. But the next game here is the Steelers and the Chiefs. This one pretty much went as expected. You know, this was Big Ben's Big Bang finale. He put up the most fight out of some of these wild card teams.
Yeah.
He put 21 points up on the board.
He did. Who would have guessed it? Big Ben would have been the surprise, you know, of the weekend there, even though they got the L. Pat Mahomes, 404 yards, 5 touchdowns, just tearing apart the Steelers. So that's something that they have something to look forward to. That's going to be a heavyweight matchup coming up, you know, with them in Buffalo. But Chiefs are clicking at the right time. They're doing exactly what they need to do. Yeah,
absolutely. And the Steelers, you know, they're another team where it's like they probably shouldn't have been here. Just but like, and that's the thing when I brought up earlier is like, is there really a need for a 7 seed? Like, even though our teams kind of benefited off of it, but like all these wild card teams that made it were just getting blown out for the most part all weekend. So that's something the NFL may take a look at here this offseason. Like maybe they'll keep it for next year, see what's going on there. But I don't know. I could possibly see it changing again.
I don't know, because at the end of the day, I feel like they're making more money. You know?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it's an additional game.
Think about the money.
They'll probably be like, people watched it, but people watched it. Okay, yeah. Well, you know, they turned. So I completely agree with you. Like, I don't know if the 7th seed is even necessary. 2 bye weeks, 2 wild card games. That was perfect. You know, we had 4 wild cards on the weekend. Yeah. We didn't necessarily need 5.
As long as that money's rolling in, we definitely need an extra couple games.
Yeah, now we get 2 extra games, which is cool. You know, that's cool. We get 2 extra games, but labor blowouts. But it is what it is, because football's football at the end of the day. Like I'm going to watch it. But the Chiefs dismantled the Steelers. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh.
Expected.
You didn't even want to be here, or you wanted to be here, but you weren't expecting to be here. You made it because some other team lost type of shit. So what do you really expect? You got a tie on the year. Come on now. You weren't supposed to be in the wild card. Get the fuck up out of here.
That leads us to our last game of Wild Card Weekend here: the Cardinals and the Rams, and just another blowout, man. These Cardinals just haven't looked the same in weeks. This was kind of as expected. I mean, we both picked the Rams in this one.
Yep.
We just not confident with them Cardinals at all.
As much as we loved the Cardinals all year, we both picked the Rams in this because they are 4 of the last 5 games, losses going into the playoffs. They were
pretty
terrible.
Funny, because Kyler Murray, this was his first playoff game, and he looked really bad. And then Mac Jones looked really bad. Jalen Hurts looked really bad. And it's almost like you kind of need to give your QBs time to develop over it. You can't just give up on them after 1 year. You got to let your QB, grow.
You got to let them grow.
I'm not saying this to a specific fan base or anything, but just, little something. Marinate on.
For whoever needs to hear it, more or less. Okay. Yeah. But I'm disappointed. I am genuinely disappointed because Same. I thought the Cardinals were going to be the shit before the season started. We thought the Cardinals were going to be awesome.
And they were. I mean, what did they start out as? Like 8-0, something crazy, 8-1 or something. I forget.
It's just so sad. They fell apart, man, so drastically. And no D-Hop for weeks. So
the Rams, he was out the rest of the season.
The Rams are still a tricky duck, man. I don't know if they're the real
Stafford
deal.
Going through it 17 times.
That's what I mean. I don't know. They have OBJ out here throwing the ball. So, I don't understand what's going on. I know McVay's a crazy, wild, young gun head coach, but so was Kingsbury, So, I don't know. I don't know about these Rams, man. I gotta do some research on these Rams.
They're so wishy-washy, but I mean, it is playoffs. It is a different environment. Sean McVay knows what he's doing. They got Cooper Kupp. Yeah,
that's what I mean. They got Cooper Kupp.
The formula's there, but
Sonny Michel, Cam Akers is healthy again, so they have all the pieces clicking for them. They got a super. I heard that one interview with Von Miller. He was talking about coming to practice feels like walking into a Pro Bowl. Because they got so many superstars on that team. Maybe not super mega stars, but Ramsey, Von Miller. It's just crazy. Aaron Donald, so they have the pieces. They have everything. They're built so well.
They are. Can they execute? Exactly. Execute.
Can they execute?
Especially when you may have to face a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers here next week if they advance.
Exactly. So we'll see, but. They made it. They beat the Cardinals. They only put up 11 points, so it wasn't apparently that hard, but they beat the Cardinals, hung up 34 on them. Cooper Kupp got a touchdown. OBJ had that crazy play like we were saying. That was great.
Yeah.
I'm glad OBJ's having a nice year in LA there.
Yeah, same. It was just a nice needed change of scenery with a smart coach who was actually going to use him to the best of his ability and be able to get him the ball when needed.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the breakdown for Wild Card Weekend. We will talk about all the rest of the NFL news as well as, the divisional round picks coming up here. Everybody, welcome back to Squad Pod Sports. Of course, I'm Wyatt, joined by Vern. We're going to go right into all the NFL news and our picks for the divisional round games here. Last, when we left off here, we were talking about the Rams. Matt Stafford, this is his first playoff win, that they got. That's a big news story that's going on right now. All these years.
That's huge for him. That's huge for him. And we've talked about Stafford for a while. I mean, before we even started doing this podcast, we've had mad respect for Stafford because even on the Detroit Lions, he's been slinging the ball. I know he had Calvin Johnson, but he has been slinging the ball. That there's a stat out there. The 2 highest passing or highest receiving yard seasons for wide receivers.
Yeah,
Matt Stafford was the quarterback for both of them with Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp. So that's telling you something right there, man. This dude is crazy. Deserves some recognition.
That is true. That is very true. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, it's looking like he may get another win or, possibly go to the Super Bowl.
We'll see.
We'll see.
There's a Billy Goat in his way. We'll see what happens, okay?
Speaking of, I thought this could have been saved for the crazy sports stat. Tom Brady's older than every NFC head coach that's in the playoffs still.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy... I had no idea. I didn't realize that. Tom Brady himself is older than every coach.
Coach in
what
the
about
NFC.
Arians? Other than Arians, right?
I guess other than Arians, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I guess, yeah, he would have to be. But yeah, every
funny.
other NFC coach, yeah.
That's hilarious, man. That's great. That's good shit or good stuff right there, man. Like, that's awesome. Tom Brady, ancient,
and he's still doing his thing. One of the best years of his career.
Mm-hmm.
The Seahawks officially fired defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. So Seahawks are looking for a new D coordinator there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's been pretty bad out there this year, especially.
Yeah, I mean, it's been looked bad the past couple years, but they definitely need a new change. Try to help Russ stay. Like, hey, we're trying here. We're gonna get you defense. Don't worry about it.
Get you a defense. You're not gonna have to put up 50 points. Come on, man.
Talking about going in the playoffs here. Derrick Henry is back in pads today at practice. So it's looking like this dude could be playing in this next game.
This, like I said, we have some very, very good heavyweight matchups going into this last round. We weeded out all the BS teams, and now these are the contenders, the ones that are left here. So I'm super excited. Derrick Henry's back, the real rushing champ. I know the boy, what's his name, Jonathan Taylor had a great season. He had an amazing year, almost MVP type of year, but he would have been overshadowed by Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, I think he finished sixth on the and he was out all those games.
That's ridiculous. He still
ended up sixth.
The sixth best running back. That's ridiculous, man.
It is. It really is.
So just to get that dude back alone, that's a blessing for Tennessee there.
Absolutely, and I mean they're pretty much fully healthy too, so they need that, especially with that bye week. So they're gonna be rolling.
Julio's back as well too.
Julio's back. Yeah, they're fully healthy right now. I'm pretty sure.
No limited practice or anything.
Yeah, he's back.
Okay. The
Raiders fired the GM Mike Mayock, so they could possibly be looking for a new head coach and a new GM.
Yeah, kind of like a good opportunity for a head coach. Like it's kind of more attractive sometimes if like the problem is gone. Like
their new GM to work with and everything.
Fresh start, like kind of just new mentality, new culture, and everything. So that's going to be an attraction, especially in Vegas. That's going to be an awesome. I know we talked about this. These players get in trouble. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to put a team.
May not have been,
but for a coach, maybe that's a good opportunity there.
Yeah. Cowboy Ezekiel Elliott, we talked about him earlier. Apparently, he was playing with a partially torn PCL in his knee. Apparently,
he played though. He played.
He was playing. So
now he's got some time. That's why he was kind of limping and slow half the time. We were like, it just doesn't look the same. That's why
it didn't. Yeah, it didn't at all. Now the Texans also fired their head coach David Culley after 1 year. This is kind of caused a controversy because what did you expect him to do? We call it the island of misfit players just because it's like a hodgepodge. What did you really expect him to do? And realistically, he may have overachieved with the wins that they got against some of these teams.
Exactly. And to be honest, we didn't think like they were signing 1 year deals and stuff like that. Like there were a couple 2 or 3 year deals that probably everybody knows weren't going to be fulfilled, as far as the guaranteed money isn't a 3 year deal. So it's we saw coming into the season that it was kind of a throwaway year for Houston anyway. So when you look at it with that perspective, it kind of makes sense. Like they maybe even made this higher. Like, all right, well you're a temporary option anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we have no idea what's happening this year. Our franchise quarterback is fighting cases, so Houston might have just kind of been on the autopilot all season type of thing, and now they have a potential. I saw something about Flores. Brian Flores was going to be the one to potentially end up in Houston. So maybe they know what's going on, but nobody else does. That's all.
Yeah, that's the way it's really seeming at this point.
Right.
And it's funny you mentioned Brian Flores because there was news that came out because we talked about like why was he really canned. Apparently there was a lot of rumors about him not getting along with Tua as well as the GM and them having fights. Apparently one of those fights, Flores told Tua that he should have picked Mac Jones.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Like, how do you say that to your franchise quarterback?
Yeah, apparently the conversation was, if I knew you were going to be this bad, I would have taken Mac Jones.
That's ridiculous.
Right? That's crazy.
I'm glad he didn't. Thank you. I appreciate it. But, like, that's ridiculous, man. that's like some Urban Meyer. It's not as bad as Urban Meyer kicking the kicker, but like that's like things you don't do as a head coach. Like, come on now, like that's absolutely not motivating him to be any better.
In any
like
way.
It's ridiculous.
And I only have two more things here. The Steelers, Big Ben Roethlisberger passed Brett Favre for the third most passing yards in NFL postseason history. Nice. So he kind of also went out on a high note there in that playoff game as well.
Top 3 all-time passing yards in the postseason.
Tom Brady, huge. Peyton Manning, Big Ben, Brett Favre, Joe Montana.
That's huge, man. Big Ben had a great career. Like Tom Brady is the reason. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and a random Joe Flacco is the reason Big Ben didn't have
a random Joe Flacco.
Strictly, I just saw the other day on my Facebook memories, like something that me and Alex were sharing with each other years ago. It was like 13 or 14 years straight from like 2002 or 1, like the whole way up to like 2014, 2015, somewhere like that. The AFC was represented by Brady, Roethlisberger, Manning, and Flacco. That's it. You know what I mean? And it was like one random Flacco, and it was Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger, Manning. Like that, it was 3 quarterbacks that ran the AFC for 15 years. So, and it's really crazy to think about. He was one of them. So, all praise to good Ben Roethlisberger, man. He had a crazy career.
Absolutely. And the last thing here, kind of going to the opposite direction there. Chris Ballard, associated with the Colts, said that at this time we felt it was the right decision, and if not, and I'm not going to make a comment on who's going to be here next year and who's not. Talking about Carson Wentz. Said at the time it was the right decision.
At the time?
That's the exact quote. At the time we felt it was the right decision. I'm not going to make a comment on who's going to be here next year and who's not. Like, that's just damn, one season already.
And he played all year. He didn't get hurt on him. Like, he played all season. He did everything he could. He got COVID. He was just fighting through everything, and this dude won't even commit to him.
Won't even commit at all. So that's all the news here. We're going to go right into our picks for the divisional round games. Brought to you by Sideline Sports Network, of course.
Of course.
The Saturday games here. The first one, the Bengals and the Titans. This is going to be a big old matchup.
Before we go into this, I just want to make a note. You went 6-0 last week on your picks. You picked every playoff game correctly. Just wanted to go out there. I went 4-2. You went 6-0. So just say if anybody's listening to this, looking for some advice, it's just entertainment purposes only, of course. But if you're looking for any advice, Wyatt was 6-0 last week. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, but let's get into
I did with some dough on those. I did win some dough on that bet. But starting off this week is the Bengals and the Titans. Tennessee are 3.5-point favorites here against the Bengals. This is a tough game. All these games are pretty much going to be tough games. I mean, that's the playoffs, divisional round of the playoffs. So who do you got here against Bengals and the Titans here?
I have no idea, man. I've been trying to think about this all day because I knew we were going to do these picks, and I can't one side or the other. I'm going to have to make a pick. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Okay, I'm going to roll with Cincinnati. They're hot right now. I know this is going to be in Tennessee. I know they got Derrick Henry back, Julio Jones, Mike Vrabel is a great coach, Ryan Tannehill is quarterback game manager. What I know, and we'll see what happens. Like I said to the folks at home, I went 4-2 last week, so maybe not listen to me. You might want to listen to Wyatt, but I'm going to pick Cincinnati on this game. Something's telling me in my gut they're going to pull out a close win.
I'm gonna pick the Titans in this one. Okay. I'm gonna go with them Titans.
It's a smart pick, man.
And I mean pretty much for the reasons you mentioned already. They're on a hot streak though. They had the bye week to rest. Get healthy. We already mentioned that. Ryan Tannehill's game manager. Julio's there. So I think it's gonna be a very good game. I think they're gonna be fighting. But I think the Titans defense may be able to stop the Bengals just enough, to kind of get a lead and hold them off.
Right. And I agree. I could absolutely see that happening there. The way I'm thinking, and I know last time I made a score prediction, it was correct. The opposite
I try not to make score predictions.
But I'm going to say 35-32. It's going to be the Bengals, okay? They're going to win on a field goal.
Damn,
35-32 Bengals.
Damn. The next one here, the 49ers and the Packers. Green Bay are 6-point favorites, and I'm absolutely going to take Green Bay in this game. I don't even really got to think about it. I'm just going to pick Green Bay in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way the 49ers win this game. Green Bay is on a mission. Aaron Rodgers is on a mission.
Yeah.
And it's going to end up with a great heavyweight. We'll see. Hopefully it does. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers wants Brady. He's like, I want Brady. Give me Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then whoever he plays in the AFC would be a formality at that point. Aaron Rodgers is on a mission.
And listen, I don't want to take credit away from the 49ers. They're a good team. I just feel like they do start off hot, or they do have like these hot moments, but there's always at some point in the game where they mess up big time, whether it's in a big moment towards the end, or they just throw like just an untimely pick, Jimmy G throws. But in some form, they always mess up at least once in these games
and let people hang around at least.
Exactly, and you cannot do that with the Packers. The Packers could score on you every single time they get the ball.
Yep.
So I mean,
and we mentioned it before, but Packers are 8-0 at home. Perfect
exactly.
At home this year. Why would it change now?
And just like I said, I mean, the Packers have the potential to score on every drive. I don't think the 49ers do have a potential to score on every drive.
Right, absolutely.
And that's going to be the difference for me.
I agree.
The Sunday games, we start off with the Rams and the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay are 3-point favorites in this game.
And I feel like they shouldn't be. The only reason they are is because of that man, Tom Brady. And that's the only reason I'm picking these Buccaneers, because I was driving today thinking about this game, thinking about my pick for this game, and I was thinking every reason why I should pick the Rams. Every reason that I could come up with was leading me to the conclusion of the Rams are going to win this game.
Yeah.
But I have witnessed it for the last 20 years. I've witnessed people doubting Tom Brady and me watching Tom Brady prove them fuck wrong. I don't want to be one of them doubters. So I'm rolling with Tom Brady on this one. I got to, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. I am going to roll with the Rams in this game.
All right. Tom Brady.
And it's not even mostly because of their offense. I do believe in their offense. I think Todd Bowles is going to maybe give the offense a little trouble, which could cause some factors. My biggest thing and worry about the Bucs is that O-line, with Wirfs not being healthy at all. I mean, the Eagles were getting 4 sacks on them, 5 sacks. With that D-line for the Rams, Tom Brady could be flustered in this game. He can be getting hit. He could be. I mean, it is Tom Brady. They may be trying to game plan, but that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game regardless, though. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything.
Oh, no. I don't think any of these really are going to be a blowout, maybe with the exception of Packers 49ers, depending on how the 49ers start.
That could kind of get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, but I'm picking the Rams in that one here.
Mm-hmm.
The last game here, the Bills and the Chiefs.
It's a great game to end the week on.
Kansas City 2-point favorites in this one.
That's nothing in a game like this. Oh my God,
man!
I had an epiphany today. Okay, I was just thinking about Kansas City, thinking about Pat Mahomes and how everybody crowned him the next Tom Brady or whatever. You know what I mean, and all this. And I thought about it. Thought about 5 years in the future and. What if Pat Mahomes never even reached another Super Bowl within the next 5 years? Like, then what? Like, I'm thinking all this shit because the Bills are going to win this game. Buffalo is going to come into the Arrowhead Stadium and they're going to put this shit away.
I'm glad we agree because I am also picking the Bills in this game, man.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but it's not going to be one of those nail-biter, kick a field goal to win the game type of thing. I think Bills win this by, 8 to 10 points. I think
with how good the Bills' defense has been, they're going to be catching the Chiefs slipping on a couple of these possessions, and that's going to be enough. Because it seems like the Bills kind of got their offense figured out, how they want to run it.
If Pat Mahomes becomes... if he shows that he's actually the shit, if he's actually the next great quarterback, if he can keep up with that or beat it, we'll see. I know, like we said, both of these quarterbacks threw 5 touchdowns last week. So this might be a shootout. It might not. Who knows? I think it'll be kind of close, but Buffalo will come out with this win. It's not going to be as close as a field goal, though.
Okay.
They'll win by at least 7.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you there. Bills are super strong here, and the Chiefs, they have looked good here in the playoffs, but I mean,
but the Bills look better, to be honest.
The Bills just look better. They just look better. The Chiefs, they've been making some mistakes here and there, you know? I mean, Pat Mahomes threw that interception in the first play against the Steelers. But that's our predictions there for the divisional rounds. Before we get into our NBA hot and not in the NBA news, welcome back to Squad Pod Sports. I am Wyatt and this is Vernon. We talked about the NFL. Now we're going to get into our NBA news and the NBA hot and not list. Starting out with the NBA hot and not, what do you got this week for us, Vern? I may not like these results.
You will not like the not list, but we'll get to that. On the hot list, okay, we have Cleveland, number 1. Yeah. Okay, they're on a 5-game winning streak, tearing it up right now. Now they're only 7-3 over the last 10, but they're tearing it up right now. So I had to put some recognition on Cleveland out there,
Yeah.
Phoenix is probably the best team in the NBA, I would say. To be honest with you, like it's wild to me. What's the record overall right now?
It's 34-9.
Yeah. Oh my God. And they're on a 4-game winning streak, but I think they're overall the best team in the NBA, hands down. I know their record, they have the best record. It's easy to say that.
Silently too. You don't really hear. You don't hear too much about the Suns. I mean, Golden State's been slipping here lately.
Everybody's talking about Golden State though. Yeah. So like that's
Klay
the thing.
Thompson
like
and everything.
Exactly, and they're 3 games up on Golden State right now. But Phoenix, 4-game winning streak, 8-2 over the last 10 games there. And then I got Dallas in here at number 3. They're hot right now. 3-game winning streak, but they're 9-1 over the last 10 games. So they've been doing exactly what they need to do, kind of put themselves in a good position there. I know we're still pretty early in the season, but they're a 5 seed. And then Memphis, of course, 3 seed in the West right there. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. Somebody that I think, as long as they have good health, will be there at the end of the year. Will be a real contender for the West there. They're 1-game winning streak, but I wanted to put them in there because they're 9-1 over the last 10.
Okay.
And then for the not list, okay, Indiana, we'll say. Okay, I don't know why I say Indy every time. I do it a lot when I'm talking about that. But Indiana Pacers, 4-game losing streak, 1-9 over the last 10 games. You ain't doing too good right now. It ain't really like they're out here trying. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I just gotta tell you, you're not doing good right now. But unfortunately, Chicago is on this list this week. They were on the hot list a couple weeks straight there. Now they're on the not list. Been a rough couple games, man.
Injuries, man. I'll get to that at the bias bubble, but injuries have affected the Bulls pretty hardcore lately.
Bulls, man. And I'm sorry.
It is what it is. I totally understand. They're 5-5 in their last 10 here.
5-5 on the last 10 on a 4-game skid. The Lakers were on a 3-game skid, but they weren't as of this recorded, so I didn't put the Lakers on there. Okay, Orlando. But I wanted to put that in there because Orlando, the next team, is only on a 2-game losing streak, and they're 1-9 over the last 10. But so my Lakers ain't doing great either, but we won a game, so we're not on this list there. I'm gonna just end it there. That's my hot and not list.
Okay. We'll roll right into the other NBA news we got here. Paul George will be out a few more weeks, reported by NBA Today. He suffered a torn ulnar collateral ligament in his right shooting elbow, and he's been out since December 22nd.
Jesus, I didn't even know that was in my body.
Yeah. There was initial rumors that he could be out the rest of the season, but they're saying it could be a few more weeks, and they're hoping to get him back.
Apparently, Kawhi's potentially coming back this year, so that's
big. We talked about that before.
About that months ago, months ago, about how they already ruled him out for this entire year. So that's good news for him and bad news at the same time. God live with it. Sorry, Clippers.
This is kind of big news here as of today. 9-year NBA veteran Chandler Parsons retired from basketball, and his lawsuit from a career-ending injuries in a car accident in January 2020 has been settled for a substantial amount. So pretty much he had to retire because of that car accident.
Wow.
What he won is he settled with the lawsuit. So, good for him, but also it sucks, he's not on, he's not able to play basketball at this point anymore.
Still able to type of thing. It's not like age took him down or anything. It always sucks when it injury.
Only 9 years in the league.
Even if it's a high school, think about how many high school kids, and I know his situation was a little bit different. That was a car accident, but think about how many high school kids have the potential of Michael Jordan and get hurt and they're never the same type of thing, you know? So, like, that's crazy. You never want to see potential cut short.
Exactly. And there's rumors circulating around the NBA that James Harden is reportedly open to a relocation this summer.
Really? Already?
Yeah,
already. He's just tired of Kyrie Irving's drama.
And linked to that, interesting enough, I didn't know this. Harden, KD, and Kyrie have only played 16 games together. Total together. Like, all three of them have been on the court at the same time, 16 games. That's it. Like, that's nuts.
Every piece of promotional thing out there had all three of them on it, type of thing. Like,
everybody's so excited, and only a select few people got to actually see them.
Like, that's not even the real team, man. They're not even the real, like, they don't even know each other, bro. Like, come on.
These dudes barely know each other. How
you gonna have, like, come on now? They're going strictly off the Kevin Durant being a god right now, you know? So I know Kyrie Irving's back playing away games, but
yeah, and I mean, that leads into my next news here. Kevin Durant has a sprained MCL in his left knee, and he's going to be out around 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks? Now what?
Yeah.
Now what, bro?
Kyrie's only playing away games. It's looking a little worse for them Nets.
They going to start paying that little fine and make him play some home games too? Like, what's going to happen? James Harden going to be able to take over a bigger role? Like, that's huge. That's like LeBron going, or AD. We're without AD right now.
4 to 6 weeks.
Man, that sucks. I'm sorry, Brooklyn. That sucks.
Yeah, it does. Orlando Magic are seeking a first-round pick for Mo Bamba, apparently.
First rounder?
Yeah. Okay. You don't really hear too much about Mo Bamba.
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's a little high.
But,
but the NBA is a little bit different because of the G League and everything. It's a little bit the first round pick is important, but especially later first round isn't quite as important as like
it's not like the NFL. Pick. Yeah,
right. So interesting.
Yeah, maybe for the right team that's in desperate need. You know, big man.
Yeah, that's got the picks.
Atlanta Hawks traded Cam Reddish, Solomon Hill, and a 2025 second-round pick to the Knicks for Kevin Knox and a protected 2022 first-rounder.
Good move for New York there to try to kind of tread water because they're bad right now. They're as bad as my Lakers, so they need something to kind of get them back up to where they were last year.
Exactly. Bol, we talked about the trade last week. That trade has been voided because Bol failed. Yeah, he failed his physical.
So now what?
I saw it has something to do with his ankle, and I guess he's going to get surgery on it.
So now they're stuck with him, type of thing.
They're stuck with him. Yeah.
Surgery. So
yeah. Now he's getting surgery.
That sucks. That's why they do physicals, though.
Yeah. And speaking of surgery, Damian Lillard's planning to have surgery on his lingering abdominal injury, and we talked about it last week about him missing the season. It's possibly looking like that at this point. You know, he might not be playing the rest of the season.
He's just kind of taking the longevity of his career into account here. So just trying to make sure that he gets that taken care of, even if he has to miss the season.
Exactly. But that's all the news I actually have as far as the NFL and NBA. I don't know if you have anything you want to add here, Vern, before we get to our bias bubbles and the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast.
I'm all good. Let's get it rolling.
Okay, so we'll go right into the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast here. Let me see. Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, shit. Oh, Wayne Gretzky.
Once Maurice Rocket Richard made 50 goals in 50 games possible in 1944 and 45, it became a mark for NHL goal scorers. Only a handful of other NHL greats have hit 50 in 50, but in 1983-84 season, Gretzky reached 50 goals in 39 games.
Oh my God. That's like some Michael Jordan stuff, like doing it just to do it type of thing.
Doing it just to do it. In today's NHL, a player reaching 50 goals in a full 82 game season is a noteworthy feat. So
in a full 82 game season.
Yeah, in a full 82 game season now. Yeah, wow. It's that's hard to do, 50 goals. So I mean, to do that in 39 games, Gretzky was just on another level.
It was probably incredible to watch him out there just just like, you know what I mean, just going around people, just scoring 5 or 6 goals a night type of thing, just killing it.
And it wasn't even just it's crazy because it wasn't even just goals that he was getting. He's like the leader in assists and points and everything too. So I mean, he was doing it all out there on the ice, and that's why he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
One of the greatest athletes of all time, like not in the 4 major sports, not even just, he's up there like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth type of thing, you know, like he's up there. That it's amazing. Every time you hear a stat about him, it's crazy. And that's how Tom Brady will be eventually to Kyrie and Kyrie's kids and stuff like that. You know, it would be like, man, Tom Brady did what? You know, like just stuff like that. Just it's crazy. I'm glad we get to witness one because we missed out on really the prime of Michael Jordan. We were babies. Wayne Gretzky, we didn't really see till when he was at the end of his career. We were babies. I wasn't watching hockey. So those are ones we have to look back on where Tom Brady, I mean, LeBron
James.
Yeah, but LeBron's not Michael Jordan. So
that's true.
But he's still like Kobe, or LeBron, like those type of players. Wayne Gretzky, like it's amazing. And I'm glad they recognize that talent and we get to remember it with these cool stats like this.
Yeah. And that's why, like, as much as I hate on Tom Brady, sometimes I got to recognize, like, man, we're never going to see something like this again.
Right. Exactly. And that's where I was just pondering about Pat Mahomes, like I was saying a little bit earlier. Like, everybody just kind of already cemented him as he's going to win 4 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls. Maybe not. Aaron Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl. You know, so, like.
That is true.
It's crazy.
Drew Brees only had 1 Super Bowl.
Right. Drew Brees. The second or third greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, Joe Montana's up there too, but we're getting on to a different subject here. But I just wanted to say, like, Wayne Gretzky's greatness is appreciated, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even, like, non-hockey fans know who Wayne Gretzky is.
Exactly.
So we'll roll right into our bias bubbles, you know, talk about our teams a little bit, Vern. What all you got for us this week?
So for my Pats, we already talked about lost in the wild card to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo shouldn't have been playing in a wild card game. They should have had a bye week. They should have been chilling. But we squeaked into the playoffs there. Mac Jones had a great rookie season. I think he almost had 4,000 yards, like 3,800, 22 touchdowns, I'm pretty sure. He had a great rookie year. Made the playoffs in his first season. You got Bill Belichick behind you. Bill Belichick had that press conference at, you know, the final press conference of the year. Talking about looking forward to working with Mac next year. Bill Belichick once said that he does not plan on coaching into his 70s. Well, guess what? Bill Belichick turns 70 in April, and he's already confirmed that he's coming back for next year, okay?
Yeah, what was the quote that he said?
He said,
I would say that's accurate.
Yeah, that's what he said about coming back for next year. He's like, I would say that's accurate. That's pretty much exactly what he said. Bill Belichick will be back. That's great news. You know, Mac Jones has that to look forward to. We really need to work on that defense, man. And that's crazy because, you know, Bill Belichick will get that right. You know he will, and it won't take very long. But that's one of the biggest issues right now. It's crazy going into an offseason that our defense is the issue. You know, and I know our offense isn't that great, but, like, it's better than the defense right now, man. So hopefully we get some better defensive pieces in the future. Like, I know the way Bill Belichick was sounding, there might be some people that aren't here next year type of thing. I know obviously it happens every year, but he was sounding like we got to do, you know, breakdown of everything, see what really went wrong. It's not really about this game. It's about the last 18 games we've played. He's talking about that Buffalo game like that was the worst performance we had all season.
Because you got to think, you had a pretty successful year, so it'll be easy for him to look back and see, okay, these pieces fit. This is something we can roll with. We got to find something to go like here, here, and here. And then that'll be a little easier. So it's been 2 years now. You've been kind of figuring out what's working, which players are fitting the mold, and then going from there. So next year, I expect it to be better than what you did this year.
I do too. That's going into next year. This season has raised the expectations for next year. Like they were already going to be a little bit higher, but it definitely showed me what we're capable of, you know? So I'm happy with the Patriots this year. We both talk about it. They did better than I thought they were. So good job. Made the playoffs. I love my boys, you know, but now I'm repping Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Okay. So fuck. Oh, okay.
I mean, with this not, YouTube, we good.
Fuck the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? I'm not rooting for the Buccaneers. I'm rooting for Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, okay? So that's where my allegiance stands right now as far as the postseason. I don't even have an AFC team. I guess I'm going to pick, like, Cincinnati in the AFC, I guess. And that's not who I think's going to win the Super Bowl, but that's who I would want to go out of the AFC there. But
yeah,
that's for my Pats there. And my Lakers, I don't got too much to talk about. AD's still out. I've been thinking about that with the Kevin Durant injury here. Hopefully in a couple weeks he gets reevaluated. He can kind of work his way back into rotation if he's healthy. But we'll see. I'm just so tired of AD or like somebody not playing. I'm tired of it. You know, it's ridiculous. But injuries happen, man. We're 22 and 22 right now as of this recording. So 500, not looking great, you know.
Yeah.
But realistically, we're not that far out of being in contention, being in a higher seed. So
yeah,
we're just kind of treading water right now. And Magic Johnson was talking shit on my Lakers. Okay, he's always got some shit to say. He's always got something to say.
I feel like he's always the nice guy. You know something's wrong when he's out here talking shit.
He's just always out here like saying something. You know what I mean?
He got fired.
Because he got fired.
He left.
So like, he didn't. Exactly. He didn't get fired.
It's not the way I would run
He just kind of, you know, left. He had a press conference, and like I remember something about the press conference where he was like, "I guess I should have told Genie or something." But like in his latest tweet, I think that was what it was. It was a tweet. This is what he said: "We as Lakers fans can accept being outplayed, but we deserve more than a lack of effort and no sense of urgency. Owner Genie Bus, you deserve better."
Is that why LeBron came out with that statement?
Probably
saying that like we're gonna be better, or like we're gonna strive. For, like he was.
No. I was getting to that. I was
gonna say I didn't know what that was.
Reason.
Oh, okay.
That's for a whole different reason. I mean, it was for the same game though, but it was for a different reason.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe it had some correlation, but I doubt LeBron was trying to appease Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
But LeBron did come out and was like, "I apologize, Laker Nation. We will do better," type of thing. But that was more or less like because that was the second biggest loss of LeBron's career, bro.
Oh, for real.
We had a 37-point loss to the Denver Nuggets on Saturday.
Damn.
The second biggest loss of LeBron's career. So that's why LeBron sent that tweet out about like, "I'm sorry."
LeBron's like, "This is what Kobe was dealing with all these years." God, I say, he's like, "How did he do it?
How did he do it for so long?"
Do it?
But hey, we're trying. You got everything's bigger in LA. You got the stadium's name change. It's not the Staples Center anymore. It's just Magic Johnson's tweeting, talking about, "Oh, we deserve better." Just I don't understand what's going on right now. It's not great.
Weird times in LA.
Westbrook had one turnover over the last like 3 or 4 games. And we lost all 3 of them. During that 3-game stretch, before we ended up winning against the who did we just play? Before we ended up just winning here, Westbrook had one turnover over the last 3 games, and we lost all 3 of them. So, like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I don't know.
He's trying to better his game, and it's not helping.
Frank Vogel is apparently on the hot seat now.
I saw that too. Next game you guys lose, he's gone. You guys are gonna have a new head coach. Great.
They're gonna end up bringing in some like Ty Lue type.
Russ had that huge dunk on Gobert or whatever the other.
Yeah, that was nice, man.
Oh, holy moly! He almost broke the backboard.
Things are not great right now as far as the Lakers are concerned, but it's all gonna be okay. I feel like they'll make the playoffs.
What team was it? They were playing cold as ice every single time that Russ was up at the free throw line.
Yeah, goddamn Sacramento Kings or something like that. Like they were just cold as ice. It wasn't every time he was at the free throw line. It was every time he missed a shot, bro.
Every time he missed
a bucket, you could hear cold as ice.
I saw like the NBA sent them a letter telling them to stop. Like you can't do this. Like they sent them like a memo.
I'll send you the video after this of the little compilation of every missed shot in the stadium playing. It's ridiculous. It's funny. It's hilarious. But it's not funny when it happens to you. Okay, so screw that stadium. And I don't remember if it was Sacramento or who it was, but Screw that.
JaVale McGee pissed for years because Shaq had him on acting a fool all the time. Or so.
Right? It's funny till it happens to you. Okay, so just stop the bullying. Okay, in the NBA, stop all the bullying. That's all I got for my Lakers.
Okay. Bulls going through it right now. There's some upside to be had, I guess, is like at least we get kind of like the COVID situation with them is like at least it's happening now, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we're still holding on to that 1 seed in the East. We had a cushion. We lost 4 straight, but we're still the 1 seed in the East. So I mean they're still holding on to it. Zach LaVine's having left knee I think it's left knee soreness. They already had an MRI. It's negative. So they just want to kind of keep him out. They don't think it's going to be any significant time, nowhere near like a Kevin Durant situation. Right. But they do expect him back somewhat soon. It's pretty much similar to Lonzo. He's having some soreness and like I think they said his knee. They just kind of sitting him right now. Caruso's coming back tomorrow night. He hasn't played since December. Caruso's coming back. Derrick Jones Jr. has a bone bruise in his knee. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So, I mean, he's going to be out for a little while, missing some time. So, I mean, at this point, not looking, struggling. We need to win some games. We need to start winning a couple games, kind of keep us above water there. That way we won't start slipping down the rankings there. But the Bulls, they are in trade rumors with, again, trying to get Jeremy Grant, apparently. They're one of the teams that are out there trying to get Jeremy Grant.
Everybody is right now.
Everybody is as of right now. The rumor is, I mean, take this with a grain of salt. They're willing to offer Patrick Williams. He was one of our top draft picks last season. He's supposed to be a big up and comer for us. So, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I would hate to see that happen. Especially who knows how long we keep Jeremy Grant for, unless, it's kind of win or bust at that point.
That's still. I mean, like I said, who knows who's going to get him at this point? But
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I don't know if the Bulls are going to do it. I don't see them trying to trade all that draft capital just for And I think he came out saying that he wants to be like a significant piece, like he wants playing time and he wants to be like a starter and everything. So I don't see why that wouldn't happen, but I don't know how in the Bulls would be on that.
Right.
As far as them Eagles, man, I mean, like I said before, I wish it would have been a competitive game. I would have been okay with the L if it was somewhat competitive, but man, it's just a little bit worse whenever you get blown out like that. Jalen Hurts didn't look at all, and unfortunately, with that happens, that brings in the offseason of, oh, should we keep Jalen Hurts? Should we try to trade for Russ or whatever? Or like that bad performance amplified those talks going into the offseason. Yep. That's not what he wanted. Because at that point, going into the playoff game, it was like, Jalen Hurts, that dude, he helped us get to the playoffs and all this. And then a terrible game, like, oh, what do we do now? So,
now we got to get rid of Jalen Hurts.
I hope we roll with Hurts. Because, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, just to keep him around. Let him, develop in the offseason. I read that he hasn't had the same offensive scheme like any year. Like back-to-back years, he hasn't had the same offensive scheme. He's either had a different offensive coordinator or a different coach, whether it's in college or now in the NFL for 2 years. So I think 2 years under the same system and same coach will do him well there. Hopefully that'll help. And, of course, going into my next thing here, Eagles have 3 draft picks, the 15, 16, and 19 in the first round. So, I mean, they got a lot to work with, as far as draft. I expect them to draft a lot of defensive players, and I expect them to get a free agent wide receiver here as well. And a lot of rumor coming out today. Apparently, Brandon Brooks is expected to retire this offseason. So that's a big blow to our O-line, kind of, because I think he only played 2 games or 3 games with us this season, and he's been missing significant time through the past couple seasons. So it's even if he didn't retire, I expect the Eagles to try to move on from him anyway, because he just hasn't been there. He's either been he's pretty much been on IR the whole time.
At this point, they already kind of have a spot filled, or they're working on it anyway.
Exactly. So I mean, it sucks because he was such a good player. He's part of that great O-line that we had in that Super Bowl run. But, it's a business, man. On to the next one. Next man up.
Exactly. Next man up.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's all that I have as far as the Eagles. You know, it's off season. It's all speculation and rumors as far as the Eagles go from here on out.
Right. From here on out, man, until we get some solid news.
But that's the show this week. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out all of our other content on the channel. Go follow us on Twitter at SquadPodSports. And make sure to check out all the content that Sideline Sports has to offer as well. Ton of content. We do got some big news coming up here that we're going to be announced here in the coming weeks as well. So be on the lookout for that. And I can't wait to see these playoff games coming up this week. And I can't wait to talk about them on next week's show. So until then, we'll see everybody later.
Peace.